Hi, welcome back to Regular Magazine. You got a question to pose. And now someone mentioned to me, are you a painter or a gamer? So let's get into that question and discuss whether you are a painter or a gamer. So yeah, that question came up recently. Are you a painter or a gamer? Um, I guess if I'd been asked that question a year or so, 18 months ago, I'd have said at that point during the pandemic I was predominantly a painter, and I think that was probably would have been the answer from most people during the pandemic, is that we were predominantly painting and creating scenery and stuff like that, and weren't doing much in the way of war gaming or gaming at all. But I ask that question now, are you predominantly more gamer or painter? And I think I fall into the category of sort of in somewhere in between. I like painting. I've entered painting competitions in the past. I paint a variety of scales, including 54 mils and higher, when I want to sort of push my abilities. But I'm also a big gamer. I've predominantly over the years been 28 mil with some sort of dabbling in 15 and 20 mil. But going into this year, I started doing a lot more 10 mil, and I have just finally bought some 6 mil. I bought 6 mil sci-fi, so it's a lot of tanks, artillery, and bits and pieces like that. There will be some infantry in there involved in that, and that's because of uh, Legion Imperialis is coming out, and I'm really keen to get in on board Legion Imperialis, which is Games Workshop's updated version of the old Epic 40k, but it's been set in the Horus Heresy period rather than the current timeline. So I like to paint, and I like to build scenery, and I like to game. Admittedly, I haven't been gaming as often as I would have done in prior to the pandemic. I think over the pandemic I wasn't able to get out and game, and I was solely painting and building and building armies and stuff like that. And I got quite a lot done during that period because we were in lockdown and stuff like that. I was quite productive, and I have started gaming again, but I'm probably not gaming as much as I was, and that part of that is because I'm dabbling in a lot more different sort of genres, scales, and stuff like that. And I've got lots of few armies to paint, and I don't like to play an army until it's fully painted. But that question is, what would you say you are? Are you a gamer predominantly? You prefer the rule, researching the rules, um, building army lists, and then playing the games, and painting and making scenery is just something you have to do, and you're not. It's not where you want to be doing. You've got no choice because you've got to have a painted army and stuff. Blah blah blah. Or are you a painter, where you spend more of your time painting than you do gaming? You may not even game at all. You may be one of these individuals that um, only paints. And I know quite a few people over the years I've met and friends that don't do anything but paint. They paint a variety of scales, and they paint to a level that you would consider competition. Um, and they tend to sort of pick and choose nice looking miniatures to paint. You could be at that end of the scale, um, or you could be someone like me that kind of falls somewhere in the middle, and likes to paint and quite enjoys coming into their hobby space and painting, and they find it quite relaxing. And at the end of that, you then play games with those things that you've built and painted. Is one better than the other? Is the other question. Is someone who only paints a real hobbyist, or real uh, member of the community? And I say yes. Just because they don't game, or they don't game, they either don't game at all, they barely game, doesn't mean they're any less or better than someone that is pure gamer. it may, it's different courses for different horses. It's, and that's what I like about this hobby and this community, is that you get different people from different coming at it from different angles, and only liking certain aspects. There are people that only read the background books and the fluff. They don't go into any of the painting or the gaming, but they're big fans of, say, a particular universe, like 40k, for instance. They read all the Black Library books, and they may play the computer game versions set in that world. But that doesn't mean that they're, not part of our hobby, just because they don't play tabletop games. And this got me thinking is that our hobby has quite a plethora of different aspects to it. It's not just picking up some toy soldiers and moving them about a gaming table. There's a whole raft of aspects to it. Like if you're into historicals, you may be one of those people that really goes into depth into research about that historical period. I mean, you could be a 40k game player that reads every single Black Library book that comes out, as well as gaming and painting, collecting. And the hobby is just this vast collection of various different bits and pieces that all come together. And then you get people coming at it from different angles. And I think that's what makes the hobby an interesting community.